Welcome to the Side Chat Podcast. This week we will be covering E3 2014. We will talk about some of the unveilings and trailers and gameplay that we saw from this past week, and we have a panel here to discuss it. Starting with Broseph Arduman, what is your favorite Battlefield installation?
I would probably go with Battlefield 2 because that was the first one I played.
Fierce?
Hey everybody, and if it isn't Battlefield 2, which is pretty, it's just true classic, I'd probably go with 2142. I'm a diehard for that.
And then we finally have Optimistic Chris on here.
Hello. It'd probably be Battlefield 2. It's the one I've spent the most time in.
Pop Gadoosh?
Hold on, my Star Citizen is still updating. 37 gigs downloaded.
Nice.
All right, we're good. Battlefield 2, definitely. That was the first time I actually had to upgrade my computer just to be able to play it, so it was pretty memorable.
Battlefield 1942 Desert Combat Mod. You're all bitches. So let's start with Activision. They, of course, every year there's something that comes out called COD, and it was this year called Advanced Warfighter?
Advanced Warfare.
Well, see, I don't even care. Anybody here? Well, I mean, let's be honest. Every year it's the same game. It seems to age worse and worse. Does anybody have anything they want to add to this, or are we just going to move on to the next one?
I'll say the graphics did look better because it's supposed to be next gen.
Whatever
but
the
it's
engine
like
it
they
is,
were like, well, the guys who used to be part of us made Titanfall that had dudes with suits that could jump. And then I was a really big fan of this Elysium movie. Let's put them together and make a game. Let's go. Yeah. And that's about all I got out of it. I'm not excited for it at all.
Well, they couldn't top last year when they actually brought a dog.
Exactly.
Nothing. Yeah,
fish physics.
Yeah. All right. So the other game that Activision really unveiled was Destiny. I've tried to watch some trailers. I've tried to watch some stuff. All I keep hearing about is the freaking $500 million budget that they've planned for this thing. I don't even know where to go from here on this one.
I mean, it's a weird game actually because I don't know what to think about it just watching gameplay of it, but everything I hear is like people are like this is the best game at E3, and I don't know whether to take that seriously or not.
I thought it looked, from what I've seen. Granted, I didn't get a play of the mechanics at all. All I saw was visuals, some standard gameplay. It looks pretty solid. But I don't understand the whole story or anything. Haven't paid attention to it that much. But I mean, if it's Bungie, they've made nothing but games that I've loved for the most part. I think it'll be at least a really solid game, if not really, really awesome and hopefully addicting.
But that seems to be the only thing they keep saying is $500 million and Bungie, trust us. That's about all I know. That's all they keep saying. It's that price and Bungie.
Right. Yeah, they said it's it's Halo with Borderlands kind of tied together. They're asking, well, is this an MMO? Which technically no, because it's kind of drop in, drop out play. But it's the gameplay that I've seen, it looks just like Halo. Like a drop ship will come, enemies jump out, you shoot them. Just with a lot more flair. I'm actually excited for it, but I just have to get a PlayStation 4 first.
Yep, no, I completely agree. Yeah, it might have been... How much money did you say?
They said $500 million was the last number I heard being thrown around.
At least we know that it's for sure coming out, as opposed to another game that has around, around 500 million donated to it.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Destiny was announced for PC, but I don't know how much later it's coming out after consoles.
Very true, very true.
Right. Yeah, at least the game hasn't in itself been delayed 3 times or anything. It seems pretty solid. Like it's coming out then. They have a huge team working on it. 200 people or whatever. I think there's not going to be a problem with it. And it's finally the one game that like a system. They call it system seller. Is this do you guys think that this is a system seller?
Possibly. I mean, Bungie hasn't given me a reason not to trust them. So, I don't know, I guess.
All right, let's move on to EA. I think this is
Actually, before EA, I was considering that question earlier, system sellers. I'm not too sure if Destiny represents a system seller in and of itself, but I do want to, just pose the question, is the Halo Master Collection a system seller for Xbox One? As when that was announced, there was a lot of, it seemed to be a high point of E3 in general. There was a reaction around the internet. A lot of nostalgia fans are like, yeah, absolutely, we'll love it. And I'm only wondering, is it legitimate enough of a reason for any of you guys here who don't own an Xbox One to purchase one? The Halo Master Collection. Is that a system seller?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd buy one. Granted, I'm under different circumstances where I could probably just play one. But no. I mean, apparently Xbox has fixed a lot of their stuff, but after launch, I tried both systems, and I absolutely hated what Microsoft was doing with, having to have your system online the first time you started up, stuff like that. I don't know. It just bothered me. But I wouldn't mind going back through all the Halo games. I saw some of the redone graphics and stuff, and that looked really awesome. And if that will get me the same feeling of when I first played, Halo 1 for the first time, I'd definitely buy the game. I don't know if I'd buy the system if I didn't already have it, but the game, that sounds awesome.
Real quick though, Halo for a lot of us was the first game before Xbox had Xbox Live. It was the first game that could really play with LAN and multiplayer, and you would play with all your friends in the same house. And then we had Xbox Live go kick on, and most of the people played with people they knew in real life, and so on. We're kind of past that point though. Like for me, Halo was always a multiplayer game. I don't see enough in Halo single player to make me want to replay it.
Well, it takes something extremely unique to push a console buy for me. But in this Halo Master Chief Collection, it's Halos 1 through 4, and it's all 100 multiplayer maps that they released. And say you'll be playing Halo 2 multiplayer, while you're in that lobby waiting for a game, it may switch you to a Halo 3 map or a Halo 4 map.
No. From my understanding, they're all stuck to their respective games.
No, I saw an IGN Aftermath interview, and they said that it will cross over between games.
Makes it better. I like that.
Yeah. Well, if IGN posted it, it must be accurate.
Well, it was an interview with the developers right after the show.
How much money did they pay him, though?
Yeah.
IGN will never live that down.
Nope.
But I think, from my opinion, it may be contextual there, Ice. Given that for a lot of people, it's kind of like how Call of Duty. There are people that are like, "What do you mean you play the Call of Duty campaign? What are you talking about? It's a multiplayer game." And then there are at the other end, people are like, "Yeah, I play the Call of Duty campaign and I like it." It's kind of the same way with Halo. There are definitely people out there where Halo is just a multiplayer experience, but I know for a fact, the whole. I think what drew people to the game in the first place, and made it sell so well, was just that world of that Halo world. That circular ring and the story of the Master Chief and what occurred on it, and then what happened in 2, 3, and 4. So there is sort of the nostalgia pull with this game is very strong. If it's just the same games that we've all played before, played again with new engine, then I think that's the major selling point of the Halo Master Collection. The multiplayer is just the return of multiplayer. A bonus, maybe even an 80% reason I'm buying a bonus for some people, but definitely the single player is in there, the nostalgia to play those campaigns again.
Well, Papa was there 10 years ago. All we used to play it for was teabagging each other.
Yeah, Blood Gulch teabagging.
But I mean, we did. Go ahead, sorry.
So, nostalgia's sake isn't going to sell a system, in my opinion. It will for some, the people who you said are hardcore Halo fans, they're obviously going to buy it, but that nostalgia is not, not there for, for me. It's not going to do it for me. If I'd obviously pick it up if I already had the system, but I need to see new content. I need to see something pushing the boundaries of that system to actually, prove themselves to me, kind of thing.
I was going to say, if Xbox One has to rely on a game that was released, 10, 15 years ago to sell consoles today, then what the hell is their developers doing?
Perfect example, this E3, look online, you'll see the Minecraft booth always empty. Every single time, Kotaku article I was reading, he's over 3 days, he took several pictures, and every time, the only time I saw somebody playing it was some Sony guy, just taking a break. So I mean, that's obviously not something that's gonna sell it.
All right, EA, this is one of my most despised publishers for about, God knows, since I was 13. And this year, I'd say they probably had a better E3 than most. But there's still some, you kind of come out the other end a little baffled. They announced their EA Sports, FIFA, Madden, real quick, EA Golf, which looks, let's take our Frostbite V2 or V3 or whatever their engine on and put a battleship and you can have Tiger Woods hit over it, whatever the hell that means. And then you have, and it seems like the list of games I have here, about 60% of their new releases are all coming from DICE. Like, I thought EA had all these talented publishers all over the world, and then is DICE the only one that's doing work, or?
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a bit of a dev sort of, publisher's pet going on there.
Yeah.
They DICE has always been, we all pretty much said Battlefield 2. Except yourself, Ice, at the beginning, and I think even from back then, like Battlefield 2 for a lot of us was like Super Mario Brothers 2 for different types of gamers. So DICE has always been a premier dev underneath the EA umbrella, and I think they're becoming a bit of a crutch now. And I may be late in saying this, but it might have happened earlier when they started pimping the Frostbite engine out everywhere they could. But EA does seem to be leaning a little too heavily on DICE lately.
Yeah, real quick, people know, hold on. Frostbite is an engine that came out in the Battlefield Bad Company 1 for the Xbox 360 that was kind of just like, hey, look, we made a new engine and it has destructible environments. And then since in the past, was it now 5 years now since that came out? It's being pushed into every other studio that EA has and is just basically it's going into strategy games. It's talked about going to racing games. It's talked about going to sports games now. It's going to be in RPGs. So they're just trying to push this engine outside the original.
Did that push for Frostbite, like in the Bad Company 1, Bad Company 2 days? Was Frostbite the engine being pushed sort of internally, outwardly into other franchises?
I have no idea.
Just the Battlefield 3
if I had to guess, they still, back then they did a lot of work with Unreal, and I don't know if EA wanted to stop sending money to Epic Games for their license for their engine. I think there's probably money involved where, if you can save money.
Was just kind of EA cutting
it's
the cord,
free.
really.
It's free to EA. It's their engine, so they can use it however the hell they want for free and make changes to it internally. So anyway, you were saying, Chris? Sorry.
I feel like they can just throw DICE around however they want. I mean, that's really, they can't really do that with BioWare. BioWare doesn't really stand up for that. But they just throw DICE around wherever they want to. What are they? They're doing Mirror's Edge 2, Battlefront, and whatever Battlefield comes out.
Yep, so. They had a decent lineup of games, but the games I was actually interested in, they didn't have real trailers for.
Yeah, nothing to really show for it. They could have waited till E3 2015 for that shit.
New Mirror's Edge, would love to see it. The next Critteron, or however you say their name, that game looked what they showed. I mean, it could be a
fuck that studio. They released Hot Pursuit, and if anybody has ever played that game, it is the biggest pile of turd that was ever released for anything Need for Speed universe. I played almost all the Need for Speeds. That game was unplayable on day one. I've installed it 2 years later, still unplayable. Pop-Up Gadoosh played it. You can give you another opinion.
Yeah, I played it. I got it on Amazon, had it shipped right to me. That was I pre-ordered the thing, and it comes in, I install it, and it was just, it was utter crap. I couldn't even play it.
Multiplayer connectivity sucked, lobbies sucked, the engine sucked. I mean, gameplay, it was
the amount
1
of
out of
cars
10
on the road pissing you off.
It was just awful.
It
looked great in gameplay, but it didn't deliver anything.
I'm racing. Oh, I'm heading on with the car. Shit, I lost the race.
And we were all head on into it too. We all had it pre-ordered, ready to go, and we got in those matches. Those of us that could, and we just were not impressed. I uninstalled it that night, and thank God I was able to get my money back. But oh well. Yeah,
Criterion has a lot of. If they want people to buy their games, they gotta really step up and make something solid. Because right now they're a shit publisher, shit dev, in a lot of people's eyes who bought their last product.
Gotcha. They did the Burnout series too, right?
I believe they did half of them. It used to be owned by Acclaim, I think, for Burnout 1 or 2, without googling it.
Okay.
And then when EA got the rights to it, I think they did Burnout 3 and 4, if I remember right.
Yeah, Paradise. That's my favorite racing game of all time. and that's kind of what I was seeing out of this new game somewhat, just over the top, out of control stuff, which I like.
I just, like I said, it's you're looking at a 45-second trailer. How does it actually play? That's the problem.
It wasn't even a trailer. Yeah, it was literally like a dev diary as opposed to a trailer.
Oh, great. All right, so Battlefield Hardline, Pop Kadoosh is the only one here I think that's actually played it.
Yeah, well, I guess I can't speak for anybody else, but I have, yes.
All right, give your opinion before we all pile on.
As far as the gameplay and stuff, they've tightened it a lot, from Battlefield 4. If you play that, it's kind of loose. The guns don't really handle as well as what everybody wants. It's really tight. It's quick. The servers, they're very low latency. I don't know if that has anything to do with just the beta and they've just thrown resources at it and not that many people are on it. That's possible. The gameplay is good. The only issue I have is lasting effect. As far as the cops and robbers, it seems like it's more of a DLC for Battlefield 4 in my opinion. I don't want to see a whole game that I have to pay $60 for.
Plus premium.
To chase. Oh, that's right, season pass. Yeah, I just don't see the full value yet. But they just released it this week, so I mean, I gotta look more into it. But
besides the fact you can kneecap someone with a baseball bat, it hasn't attracted me at all.
Was that in like the campaign demonstration or in multiplayer?
No. Oh, the kneecap. I don't know.
Chris, where did you see that? I mean, it looks fun, but at the same time, Battlefield 4, it was fun when I started it, and then it kind of died out pretty quick. And then I'm really sick of their season passes / premium stuff. I'm sick of paying $100 for a game that just doesn't live up to what I wanted it to be.
I mean, every game is gonna have that though. Like moving forward, we're gonna have to get used to it because that consumer base, has already shown that they're paying for it, so they're gonna milk it.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem I have.
I agree, but I disagree that every game is going to do that. I mean, you can only do premium and season pass within contextual games. Like, for example, a city sim, Watch Dogs, Saints Row 4, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, you're going to see season passes there. Are you going to see premium editions? We saw what we saw with Watch Dogs. There wasn't anything for Saints Row 4, I don't believe, additions. I don't believe I know anything. Maybe you guys can help me with this one. But I don't know of any additions that were raised for Grand Theft Auto 5.
True.
Was there something special about them?
No, but I think what I'm just saying is that.
Yeah, I think what I'm just saying is that it's very contextual. The first-person shooter AAA game is very much it's kind of odd to call it a niche, but it's a niche situation. Very, very large player base. Some of them may not even be willing to. It's a kind of gamer that plays these games that is fine with paying over $100 as long as it's spaced out a bit and they have that perceived value over time. Then you can kind of get away with those, $100, $120 plus game purchases. But with other types of games, no, I don't see that happening anytime soon. They might surprise me with Dragon Age Inquisition. I mean, from what I've seen with, how they've treated other franchises with regards to microtransactions and stuff like that, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they kind of slide in under the radar there or try to get away with. But, I really do think that they can only really get away with the 100-plus game reality for certain genres and for certain player bases.
All right, my last point about Battlefield. I used to be a huge Battlefield fanboy, and then starting about Battlefield 3, back up 2, they started losing me. The biggest problem I had is that when Battlefield 1942 came out, it was a revolutionary game that nobody ever saw before. It was kind of that first open world. You kind of make your own luck, and every time you play a map, you have a different experience. Whether it's fly airplanes, submarines, patrol boats, tanks, blah 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 blah. And then they've been getting slowly, they had Battlefield 1942, which was somewhat based on historic places, and they had Vietnam. I'm trying to remember all of them. You had Battlefield 1943 is out there. You have Bad Company, which I kind of bought into, that was decent for Xbox 360. Bad Company 2, I have horribly mixed feelings about, but then you get to Battlefield 3, and that was such a huge deal when it released. And
Yes,
they
the hype
sold so
train
many
was huge.
copies in the hype train because they were like, oh, finally, Battlefield 3. It was 3 or 4 years, but since Battlefield 2, it's coming out. And then now it's like they took that COD model of every year we got to put out a Battlefield. And it's like, well, what happened to putting out those masterpieces every 3 to 4 years that your fan base loved? No, we're going to put out a game every year that that certain players will buy kind of regardless. And so it kind of left me in the dust saying, well, this is Battlefield Hardline. This is like Payday and GTA and COD. What happened to storming the beaches of Iwo Jima? And that's where I'm just kind of left here saying, okay, I guess EA has completely forgotten me in the past.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think from what I've seen of that gameplay and interview video, even as you were speaking of it, Papa Gadoosh, and your time with it, I looked at it and I saw, what exactly is going on in this gameplay. It seems to be Battlefield 3 in an urban environment. I mean, cops versus robbers. Maybe it's different, game modes where you have an objective that you got to protect or whatever. But how is that any different from Rush and planting the bomb? It seemed very much a reskin of what we've all played before. And even there was this part in the video where, I don't know, somebody's running around. I'm not even sure if he's a cop or a robber. He sees a sniper rifle on the ground. He picks it up. He goes around a corner, snipes somebody. And at the top of the screen came up sniper rifle ribbon. And I thought to myself, that kind of made sense in a military shooter because those are ribbons on a BDU or your dress blues or whatever. But in a cops and robbers urban environment situation, I'm not sure why the cop or the robber is getting a ribbon for using a sniper rifle.
Yeah, he
getting
gets to
5
put on
kills
his,
with it.
his bandana.
So it seemed very much a weird reskin. Take the engine, put it in an urban environment, rather than driving this, this Humvee you're now driving, this Mustang, and let it sell. We built it, they will buy it. And so I do agree with you, Ice, on that front. They're pretty much leaving the people who made them behind, and who knows? Maybe they're trying something new. I don't really mind moving away from storming beaches. It's just what they brought to the table with the Call of Duty style of play. Time will tell if that catches fire and people actually like what the engine can do in different scenarios.
Yeah, Ice, you had mentioned that a while back that Hardline should just be its own game.
Yeah, they could have literally just released, like, they could have gave Hardline to any other of the EA studios and just called it, like, I don't know, Hardline, and then sold it separately, and not fucked with the DICE title, the Battlefield title, and so on. But of course, they're gonna get X more dollars if they attach Battlefield to it. But I don't understand. Like, they could launch their own new IPO if they just made Hardline separate, had a success, and then build up another franchise.
I think almost that's the point, though. It's like they put so little work into taking what they had already done with Battlefield, reskinned it with this urban environment, that they can't really take it away from the Battlefield name, franchise name, because if it were just released as Hardline, right? EA's new game, Hardline, people would say, this is Battlefield 3. This is Battlefield 3.
I hear you. I'm just saying, that's what I'm talking about for a longer term release, not this year. This would have been a 2-year out.
Oh,
okay. From scratch. Anyway, let's real quickly go through the rest of EA and then move on to some others. We had Star Wars Battlefront, which let's not spend much time on because I think there was 30 seconds of conceptual prototype in-game footage, which wasn't, you could tell was not in-game.
What does that even mean?
I don't, whatever.
It was essentially a dev diary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this game that people have been begging for years and years and years to come back. And once again, I have to sit there and go, so DICE is working on Mirror's Edge 2, they're doing Hardline, they're doing battle packs for, how much can DICE do?
God, they must be exhausted.
And so, but there's not much we can really talk about, though, because all they showed was, one speeder in the woods being shot at, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
There was a lot
and then their offices.
Too. I noticed that there was a lot of slow pans of the staff just looking busy, holding up like stormtrooper helmets and stuff like that, and speeder toys, and it's just all very yes. We all like Star Wars. Can I see the game yet, please?
Yeah. So, all right. Next one I'm going to talk about for a little bit, and then like I said, we're going to try and move on a little bit faster. I'm going to tie these two together. There's the Dragon Age Inquisition, which almost said Dragon Age 3. and then Mass Effect. I follow these pretty closely. Dragon Age 2 was a complete botched disaster for EA or for BioWare, and they came out and apologized for it, and they were trying to kind of get back to the magic of Dragon Age Origins. So they didn't call this game Dragon Age 3. They wanted to call it Inquisition to get away from the bastard of Dragon Age 2. They moved to the Frostbite engine, like we mentioned, and it's going to be, they're trying to copy a little bit more of the Skyrim model of open world, massive continent that you can explore. So this is supposed to be their biggest kind of, I guess, biggest maps possible, and I haven't seen enough of it to make that judgment. But the Frostbite engine looks good in some ways, but then the Frostbite engine can't do water correctly. A lot of the characters' faces look, I think, weird to me. There's the one mage that looks like she's constantly pouring sweat out of every pore in her face.
Like a sky,
that's
like
very
a Skyrim
shiny.
mod. Like
It's
Very shiny.
It's sex sweat. All right. It's
but then you look at the mountains and stuff, and it looks good in one way until you look at this and you're like, what the hell? You know, like it looks good here, but don't look here, kind of to me right now. But why they're experimenting with Dragon Age Inquisition is because their bigger game, Mass Effect, is going to basically be doing a spin-off kind of universe, or canon, I guess you call it universe, of where there's no more Shepard, there's no more of those characters. They're going to be doing something from scratch. And I've heard the term multiplayer been thrown around a lot. They don't quite know, I think, what they're doing with it. They've been throwing out a lot of ideas. But with the success of Dragon Age Inquisition, if people love what they did with Dragon Age Inquisition, I think they're going to keep that formula for the next Mass Effect.
Interesting.
I can
like,
see that.
Open world.
Yeah, everything I've heard is you're supposed to. What I believe is that they're going to do is, like, if people are familiar with Mass Effect universe, is that they're going to do an N7 team that you can actually travel to different planets and either do exploration or bounty hunting, or I'm not quite sure what they have in store. But it's supposed to be less narration grinding and more RPG.
I'd like that.
That might be alright.
I think a story will come in place somewhere in there. I don't think they could make a Mass Effect game without there being a real tense story tied to it.
And
Yeah.
cameos.
Well, they said there's going to be no cameos from the Mass Effect 3 trilogy. You might
see 'em
hear their names in the news or something, but Shepard's gone. They're all gone. Like,
Is
there's
the
going to be battle
I
tips.
want to see the photo.
Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see
Jessica
the photo.
Chobot.
I want to see the photo.
All right. So I said EA had a decent showing, even though about half their crap was conceptual prototype
Dev Diaries.
diaries.
Mirror's Edge. She was like, "Oh, here's Faith just running around where there's no. It's just up in the sky, bunch of buildings."
All right.
There you
Let's
go.
skip ahead a bit to some of the kind of random things, then we'll get to Ubisoft in the end, because I think we all have a lot to say about that. Broseph, I know you said you're excited about Dying Light. Why don't you explain to us what that is and why?
I'm not sold on Dying Light yet. I mean, it looks good. It's Mirror's Edge mixed with Dead Island, essentially. You've got your free running throughout City of the Dead, also fighting other survivors that are, honestly, watching the trailers, I'm not so sure they were bad. I think you're just greedy and need stuff. But from what I saw of the most recent gameplay, it did look better than Dead Island. Like, I hated the combat in Dead Island. That pretty much ruined it for me. But this one, some of the hits actually look solid. First-person missile drop kicks look pretty awesome. It might very well be good. I don't want to say anything until I see more. But I mean, it could end up being a really solid game, especially if they throw multiplayer in. I mean, running around on top of buildings and stuff away from zombies at night that could completely tear your face off. I really like that idea. I like horror games. And if it scares me, I'll probably like it, I guess. So yeah. It looked okay. I'll give it, for now, it looked okay.
I watched a bit of it. Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
The aspects of the day versus night. They get more powerful. Like, it's getting dark out. You better get back here. That kind of thing. And then they chase your ass all the way back to the building. And that's when the trailer I was watching end. But yeah, the parkour stuff, and then zip lining to get around, and just up hills, and then zip line back down, and chasing around objectives and stuff like that. I mean, if you like Dead Island, you'll like it. If not, maybe just check it out.
I just have to ask one question: how many zombie games are we going to get before this genre finally kind of trails off
2015
because
is the year of the zombie again.
Yeah.
It's the year of the zombie round
it
2.
restarts, bro. It restarts.
Yeah. They die, you kill them, and then they rise again because they're undead.
I just had to say that.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to even care about zombie games when it's like, oh wait, you oh, never mind. Nothing. Anyway, sorry. Just.
Well, one thing I did wanted to raise about Dying Light, Broseph, I think you and I saw that video together, and you're right. It looks okay. I'm a bit concerned about two things. One is animation fatigue. The hits did look solid, but they kind of have that aspect of, if you're this distance from zombie and you left click, then your animation begins and their animation reacts.
Yeah.
You kind of get locked into that pre-rendered, okay, the zombie looks like this when you hit them with this weapon from the right. And then, so animation fatigue, and I'm like, how many times can I really see that before I start feeling like I'm not, I lose the... Yeah, like I'm losing I'm losing the fantasy here where I'm seeing the animations being performed dozens and dozens of times.
Yep, and that video we watched was the one from last year that they released.
Yeah.
The stuff I saw from this year, it looked a lot better. Like in that one from last year, you could see like a bone break when you hit it. Apparently, that will affect the zombies now, from what I saw. Like, so if you hit them in the leg, they're not gonna really get back up, or they're gonna be a lot slower. Stuff like that. It looked a lot more interesting, I'll say.
So perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Like you have zombies, and then you have zombie healthy state, zombie disabled state, zombie arm off state. Different states for zombies is pretty cool. I like that idea. Hopefully they can vary up the animations to match.
Yep.
The second thing I'm a little concerned about, though, is sort of the design of the game, because while I understand, you're a survivor and you're very athletic because you're running off all over the place, parkouring all over the place, I get that aspect, but it almost seems like there's a layer of, if you're high, you're safe, and then if you get down low, you're in danger, but you can always escape just by running. I think in that video we saw like some zombies, will attack you, and it makes sense, but sometimes you could just sprint away from others that were also in that danger area where they were this close to you, and you can just run away, and it's no problem. I think about games like Resident Evil, where the design of the game almost had like gates, where you were facing in Resident Evil 5 or 6 different types of zombies throughout the entire game, but they would put you in situations like a locked room, or this caught on fire and now I can't escape.
Where you have to kill them.
Yeah, and now you have to get through this wave.
It's fight or day.
Right, and in Dying Light, I see almost like none of that. I see the parkour. I always see like this ability to escape, and I wonder if the game can properly create tension.
I think that's where the nighttime is going to come more into play. I think there'll be more zombies, and those super zombies will be a lot more powerful. So you'll be a lot less safe. Cause from what I saw, those super ones can climb all over the place and get you. If there's,
but doesn't that just encourage more of the same, or I don't want to like crush your point, because it is a valid point. I just wonder if that encourages more of the same, more of the running away that you do in daytime.
Yeah, I think what it's gonna come down to is, how do you want to play it? Do you want to kill and be awesome? Or do you want to play careful and have more of a tense, scary moment when you're trying to sneak by some stuff at night?
But they're going to need that gameplay element that they haven't really introduced yet, while you're out there. If they just let you sit out there and just run around, it's going to get boring in it, the first time you play.
Yeah,
it's not also just not 100% zombies. As Bruce said, there's also just survivors throughout the city that you will come in contact with, and I don't know if you'll be able to just run away from those as well.
Well, they have guns and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So who knows? That's why I'm waiting on it. I'm not making any complete decisions.
But it looks okay, and you're tentatively excited.
Yeah, kinda, I guess.
All right, cool.
All right, Borderlands prequel. Most of us here have played Borderlands 2. We played the DLCs, the season passes, the 6,800 pieces of DLCs. The last Borderlands 2 had 4 or 5 different playthroughs. You can level up to 100 if you buy this for $30. I am so burnt out on Borderlands 2.
Just don't
after having been played it for 9 months that I have no interest in a Borderlands prequel, and all they're trying to sell is oxygen management system is the thing we've came up with. And I'm sorry, it's like I said, this is back to the Battlefield thing. Can we at least have 2 or 3 years before we have a next solid jump in a game before we push out more content? Because maybe there is somebody who loves playing 600 to 800,000 hours of Borderlands and can't get enough of it. But man, it's just you're gonna. Anyway, whatever.
It felt like ever since the game was released, it gave that 4-month period of people to play it, and it was just like every month something else came out for it.
So
right.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm almost like a fan of Gearbox, and even in general, kind of like the Birch siblings. I'm sort of a fan of them. I think they're awesome people.
The Birch siblings, by the way, are the YouTube channel Hey Ash, What You Playing, for those people who don't know.
Right, and various voice acting and executive direction on the production of Borderlands 2. So I'm a fan of them. I'm like, yes, give them money. They seem to be doing great, and good for them. But this is just milking it.
This isn't even done by Gearbox either. This is an outside developer. Under a license too.
There you go. So and even then, it's like they got to be authorized, right, to put their franchise.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Saints Row 4. Wasn't done by Quicksilver, whoever.
Yeah, and Borderlands pre-sequel, I believe, is on the exact same engine. No upgrade.
Yeah, there's no changes. It's just a different.
Just a different storyline. It's just like a big DLC for it.
Basically.
What do you guys think of the mashup between Telltale and Gearbox for Borderlands?
I think Telltale can do something good with it. I mean, if Telltale says they're going to do something, I'll put my trust into them because they've done nothing but great stuff so far, really.
Right.
Besides that fucking Jurassic Park game, but besides that,
best game ever. Shut up.
All right, you guys have 2 minutes because if I let you, you'll talk for an hour about Witcher 3. So 3, 2, 1, start.
It's gonna be sick. I completely trust the developers wholeheartedly, and I can't wait for it. Done.
Just started Witcher 2 today, and it looks great, so I'm gonna have fun with it for sure.
I'm an informed consumer. I don't agree with pre-orders. I don't think I think it encourages bad business practices. You're giving, the company a 0% loan 9 months in advance. You don't know what's coming down the pipe. When CD Projekt Red says, hey, we're releasing a Witcher game, I say done. $130, whatever, collector's edition, done. They've earned it. They have earned it, and that's the key. They have behaved above and beyond admirable for this industry. I think we've all seen a lot of despicable stuff in the gaming industry, both recently and a few years back, and they've done none of it. So if I have to give one game company in the world that 0% loan 18 months in advance, it's them. Take my money. Let me know when I can get it, please.
100% agree. Yep, it's definitely Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red. And even with the pre-orders too, yeah, most definitely. Especially with so many disappointments, from when we were talking about the Need for Speed, Watch Dogs. I enjoy that game, but I don't know if I'd go back and pre-order it. I just don't see the benefit in getting that just for some silly pre-order bonus that's gonna benefit me for 10 minutes.
Back to Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. They just deserve it. It's a fantastic series. 1 and 2. Oh my god.
All right, fine. He's basically saying support Poland. Are we good?
Well, 1 not so great, but 2. Yeah.
Hey, the one, number 1 had the cards. Number 1 had the cards.
It didn't play them though.
No, it was fine. I had the cards. All right.
We've been in this group been waiting for the GTA 5 announcement since GTA 5 for Xbox 360 was announced, and it's been, they hired this guy for PC porting, or NVIDIA released this driver support for GTA 5, and then this, it's always been speculation, and finally at E3, they came out and they showed the kind of, I guess they call it GT 5 Redux, a game that's been out for a year, it's already getting refurbished, but anyway, it's finally coming out for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, right? All 3 systems hitting it?
Yep.
Yes.
And there's actually going to be, instead of, hold on. GTA 4, the problem was it was out on console, I think about 9 months or to a year ahead of PC, and then they kind of did a port. The port was kind of, I'll say, shitty, and it was like a massive memory leak, and it didn't run well for anybody who, no matter what your system specs were. It looks like GTA 5 they're taking actual serious, and they're gonna maybe Rockstar will do a proper or a better job of a PC release with this one with enough features to make it feel like it's worth the wait anyway.
Yeah, the comparison screenshots are just amazing.
Yeah, the graphics look better, but I'm not gonna pre-order this one at all because if it's they have to add more to the multiplayer. As a partial console peasant, I played the hell out of the 360 version, online and off. Story great. Online was fun, but there just wasn't enough.
Yeah,
And,
I did the same.
I mean, yeah, we can all get together and we can fuck around for hours doing whatever, but it gets boring after a while. Unless we make our own fun, and I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna wait until it releases. And
I think that'll be the plus for it's kind of not coming out until fall. I think that'll be the plus for getting it on the PC is by then the full package that was originally promised for the consoles that didn't happen should be out for the PC.
Well, here's my speculation too. Rockstar always puts stuff on sale almost 90 days after it comes out. Like Max Payne 3 came out for $60, and on Steam within 3 months it was 50-60% off, and I picked it up for $20. And then 6 months later it was like $5 or something. Rockstar discounts the hell out of their PC games on Steam. And so now my speculation is if it releases on GTA 5 for PC, if it comes out in November or whatever, you know, the Steam Christmas sale's right on the corner. They're probably going to hit it with at least a 25% off sale right out of the gate. So it's like, do you have to buy this, pre-order this, or buy it on day one? But with Rockstar's track record, I'm going to say save some money.
Yeah, Kobe's going to buy it day one, though.
Oh, yeah, Kobe's
pestering the fuck out of us.
There's very few games that Kobe really gets behind, and so...
he got behind Watch Dogs. Look how that turned out.
Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute.
No, I won't buy it. I won't buy it right away. I'll wait to see how reviews say, see how it runs and stuff. And
yeah, see how good the port actually is. That's the main thing.
I won't wait for a sale more than likely. I'll probably just wait to see if it's a good port.
Yeah, I'm just really upset that it's takes them that long to put out.
Where the
PC.
fuck is Red Dead Redemption?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. We're not getting it.
I know.
And it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like, why do they really deserve my money in the first place? You know, if they're alienating us, it seems like, just...
Well, that's how it did seem like, but, the fact that they're actually putting this out much quicker than what they've had in the past, or even just at all, that they're actually starting to try and listen to the blowback of their decisions.
Max Payne 3 did decently well on PC, I think.
The Max Payne 3 actually was a good...
And it was a really good port.
Yeah. That's the thing. To that point, I wanted to bring up that forum discussion I saw a few days back where people were saying, oh, GTA 5 is coming out on PC. That's great. I'm going to wait and see. And I think that's where we're still on the fence. I don't think
that's where they're going to be day one. They're like, we finally released GTA 5 to you, PC scumbags. Why aren't you buying it? That's what's going to happen.
well, no, that's just the pre-orders. Like, I think people are going to wait a day or two before it's available to make their purchase decision because they lose nothing between then and now. What I did see in the discussion though was people were saying, well, the GTA 4 port was crap, so I'm going to wait and see. And then people were saying, wait, well.
And we lost Fierce.
And PC ports, if you don't take into account Max Payne 3. And it's an interesting question because they're 1 for 1, they're 1 win, 1 loss on my scoreboard. And, now that they're going into their third game, I don't really know how to call it.
Yep, I think that's kind of where we're all sitting at. Yeah. We want to be good, we want to have fun. It's a great group game. I mean, hell, we played the crap out of GTA 4 even though there wasn't much to do, multiplayer activity, so I'd like to see a GTA world to play in. I thought Watch Dogs might fill that void, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Can I also just make a quick point on GTA 5 here? With the recent demise of GameSpy and Games for Windows Live, I seem to think that I don't know if this is true for you guys. Let me ask you, how do you guys feel about Rockstar Social Club? I kind of feel it's the new Game for Windows Live,
when it works.
Crown wearer. I find that GTA 5 coming out on PC is like, oh great, but it's still gonna have Social Club. That's still gonna crash on launch day.
Yeah, but how are you supposed to manage your gang without a social club? Huh? Explain that.
I don't know. I mean, how did we manage games before social clubs, bro?
Oh, but no, this is. Did you?
A lot of the joining off people will be done
bro.
in game, It's not gonna be like you're gonna join a friend through Steam or anything. It's gonna like there's actually a whole system in game to do that.
Ugh. It's 2014, people. Just port my Steam friends list into every game I play.
Oh, that's what it'll do. It'll have your Steam's friends list of people who play GTA or have an online account in GTA. It'll have that in game, basically.
All right. So moving on. I know it's a game that Pop and I. This game's like Broseph mentioned earlier has been just beat to death. Evolve. That's a game that I picked up on a month ago, and as I keep saying, it's from the creators of Left 4 Dead. They keep kind of punching that line there, but the first Left 4 Dead was it was a move, like it was a different gameplay. It was a great kind of 4-party LAN game or 4-party online game. We made a lot of friends through that. I don't know how to say it's a great community game, blah blah, and it's nice to see that there's finally a game coming out where it's going to be, 4-person co-op against another team or another person. Kind of get that competitive nature between friends or pubs going. Broseph, you've seen a lot of gameplay on it. Well, how do you think it's actually looking?
I think the gameplay itself looked pretty sweet, due to the fact that it's not just you against one giant monster. It's you against a bunch of little monsters and one giant monster, and then on the monster side, it's the monster trying to eat little monsters while also fighting other bigger monsters than the little monsters to get bigger and more powerful. So
it just sounds like somebody had a lot of drugs.
Well, it sounds like, what it sounds like is a first-person MOBA.
Kind of.
Like, you have creeps and you have two sides and, similar objectives.
Kind of. Really, as far as I saw, the only objective was the hunters need to kill the big guys, or the big guy. And, just have to be weary of the other monsters around them. And then the big monster, he essentially feeds off the little ones to get armor and evolve. But also at the same time, there's like mid-ground monsters that can attack the big monsters. So it's not just, the humans against everything. Well, the big monster has all.
It sounds like somebody's gonna rage quit on this game.
Well,
somebody's gonna get mad.
I wonder who that would be.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, the guy who runs this YouTube channel. But anyway, I digress. I think it's gonna be pretty damn sweet. I've just seen way too many commercials for it watching the official Twitch stream. Every time they take a break, the trailer comes up.
Talking about that, the only problem I can see is how long is that going to last before you get bored of it?
It can last quite some time, I feel. If I really enjoy the game, I'll grind the hell out of it.
Left 4 Dead 2 had, 4 maps, 5 maps, and Pop Gadoosh and I probably have easily over 1,000 hours in versus gameplay.
I think that just depends, because they really haven't said anything of, all the maps and settings of Evolve. That's the only thing we really don't know about yet.
Well, one thing you can probably assume is with a game like this is when the environment is the sort of the objective for both teams to get kills on creeps and to get skill points and evolve and so forth. One thing you probably look forward to is sort of seasonal maps. Like I have no doubt that we're eventually going to see some sort of snow or ice map, and then there's going to be an island map. What we've seen so far has been caverns and sort of brown gray. But this game lives and dies on its maps. And even if the teams and the mechanics stay exactly the same, if the creeps, or not even the creeps, if just the map changes, same creeps, it can make a lot of difference for ambush points and, different tactics that the teams have to use.
The amount of maps that are going to be in that game is what's going to make the game last.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. So, Ubisoft. In my mind, they should have, if you look at it on paper, they should have been probably on the top people to walk home with trophies from E3 for, best overall, what they showed, what they demoed, and, you're supposed to be, if you looked at it on paper, you'd be excited, right?
Disagree.
And then I look at it and I go, but then experience has told us that, okay, this is happening. And I guess real quickly we'll explain to people why we're kind of disgusted or not amused with Ubisoft right now. Is there's people, if you bought Watch Dogs on PC through Amazon.com, all of the keys got hacked, and then Uplay just completely dropped the ball. Well, we lose it for 2 days, 48 hours, with no explanation why.
Yeah.
And then Amazon kind of took care of the problem on there, or at least Amazon got the keys back to us and said it should work. We're very, very sorry. Nothing from Ubisoft or Uplay as a statement saying we fucked up. Nothing.
Yep, nothing.
Then you have the problem of everybody's kind of noticed of Ubisoft on these E3 events. They will show beautiful kind of cinematic gameplay, and then when it comes to the actual game release, these games don't look the same as it did the year previous in E3,
and they don't run like they did either.
And it's happening with Assassin's Creed. It's happened with Watch Dogs. What else? The Spheres. What was there? A couple other examples of that, or?
While I have no proof, given that it hasn't been released yet, I have a very strong suspicion that The Division is also going to be a victim of this.
Yeah.
It could be argued that maybe Far Cry 3 had a little bit of it, but that little bit is negligible and is argued in like deep dark forums with very dangerous trolls.
So anyway, a lot of people are just screaming bait and switch with Ubisoft. Yeah. So you have a lot of people having different issues with Ubisoft. The one thing we will say though is that, and I guess we'll talk about Watch Dogs real quick because that was last year's big E3 announcement for them. The game looked beautiful. It looked like it was going to be innovative. It looked like it was going to push gaming to a whole new place. It looked like it was going to stand on its own. Blah blah. And then we played it, and the game looks gorgeous, and the gameplay is fun, and you're like this. You're really excited to play it for the first 3-4 days you play it, and then it slowly dawns on you that you're playing a basically Far Cry 3, the same missions from every other Ubisoft game, retitled into this game for filler, and then you see kind of some wonky gameplay mechanics and some wonky AI, and then you're done with it. So, a game that they're trying to sell season passes for and whatnot, I think you play for 10 hours and you're out.
Are we still talking about Watch Dogs right now, or do we move to Far Cry?
Watch Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about Ubisoft game.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the problem with Ubisoft right now.
I was gonna say with Watch Dogs, it turned into a lesser GTA with a phone.
Yeah. But the problem is I have with this is it's hard for me to bash Watch. I want to bash Watch Dogs for multiple reasons, but I have to bash Ubisoft and Uplay because there's a lot of talented people who did a great job with the Snowdrop engine, who did beautiful textures, damage models. There's a lot of creative goodness in this game, but then it was fucked up by another team.
True, I'll agree.
And so then the other problem I'll mention is that this correlates directly to The Division. We've tried the multiplayer, and it's been decent.
No, Watch Dogs.
I know, but it's using the same trailer from Watch Dogs to The Division.
Okay. What?
And so when you have a game engine that is as desync and laggy as we've learned from kind of let's compare it to Arma, no matter what new version of Arma they release, the same desync, buggy, lagginess, teleportation, shitty hit registry stays. And now I have this fear that is The Division, with as many players and NPCs they're going to jam into one server, is that going to be the same thing for the same fate between these two?
Yeah, if I hear the same way.
If I hear Ubisoft and online in the same sentence, I cringe.
Oh, if I hear you playing The Division, I'm fucking jumping out the 5th floor window.
You better grab a parachute because it's not coming any other way but Uplay. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not seeing that without Uplay.
I'm already turned off of The Division. I mean, I've never been able to get into proper MMOs or any of that shit, but $15 a month to play a game immediately turns me off of it. So unless this game turns out to be the most glorious thing ever to grace this earth, I'm probably just going to completely pass on it.
Last year, it was the biggest game I came out of E3 being excited about. I love Tom Clancy. The Snowdrop engine looked great. I'm like, this could be cool. This is kind of like World of Warcraft, but in first-person shooter. This might be something that could have some longevity and, be a 1,000-hour game. And then they showed this year's trailers, and I'm like, oh, wait, they're doing the exact same thing except from a police station. Now it's a museum. Like, wait, is this all we're going to be doing is attacking NPCs with random human attacks? Or random
hit the meds, man. It was a plague.
So
it happened on Black Friday at the mall.
And so
hit the meds, man.
And so I'm holding off until I see some other types of gameplay because I'm not paying $15 a month just to continually attack NPCs at headquarters or whatever you want.
I can maybe assuage some of that. I think when I saw what Dark Souls did with drop-in multiplayer, and then I see it again in Watch Dogs, and kind of the excitement it brings to a previously very blasé and common experience of just going about. Yeah, it's a very, very good multiplayer dynamic, and just given the design of MMOs and where 2015 gameplay design sort of strategy, I can pretty much guarantee right now that there's going to be PvP as well as PvE.
Oh, I know they're going to do it. It's just like I said, but with the desync and the other issues we're seeing in Watch Dogs with that engine, how are we? Like if you're actually playing a competitive type MMO style game where you need the level up and this, I mean, it's going to be.
I just have the. Are they ready? Are they ready to pull that off?
And from Watch Dogs, they took they had almost a 6-month delay to delay Watch Dogs to get it to where it's at. And if that's what they had with Watch Dogs, I'm scared to know what the Division's going to be like.
The only thing we could do in Watch Dogs multiplayer together was freeroamer racing, and we couldn't get.
Even then, people are teleporting around, even though it was 6 of us in a server.
Yeah, I mean, Code Decryption, they promise, you can get in your friends and go against other people. We can't do that. If we're gonna play online decryption, it's just gonna be us, whoever's playing against each other.
Just out of curiosity, because Watch Dogs has and the races that you've spoken about and the desync that we're speaking about, this is all based off of a game session where somebody is the host and the host has to migrate it.
Right, but it's Xbox Live. We played 30 games between us.
My question is the Division also following that multiplayer model? Is it going to be host migrated game session given that this is an MMO? So it's server based. Okay, so then maybe there's a bit of there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, some sunshine behind the cloud. Maybe this can work after all.
Server based could help quite a bit.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying when I've noticed lag and desync in an inherent game engine, it usually is an engine problem for one reason or another, and not a server problem.
Yeah, because
Bad Company 2 is a game I'll point out real quick. No matter how many different servers we tried, Bad Company 2 always had that. No matter how close you were or whatnot, it was always that inherent desync kind of lag, missy hitbox.
I mean, it's like, and also Watch Dogs multiplayer, it doesn't make sense when Ice creates a private session, he should be the host, and there's still desync. Ice has the best fucking connection in the world, yet there's still desync and shit. So it's like, it can't be just the host. Got to be something else there in the game doing it.
Anyway, the Division just leaves, like last year I was all in. I was like, all right, you can have $15 a month for me. And then this year I'm now like hiding behind the couch, peeking over it, waiting to see what it's gonna do, if it's gonna explode, or I have no idea.
My skepticism for the gameplay has risen, yes, with the rampant Ubisoft bullshotting at events like E3 and others with Watch Dogs and other games. Yes, I'm not too keen on the Division looking exactly the way it does in these trailers. Nonetheless, I remain cautiously optimistic, if for no other reason than the dedicated servers alone.
Well, like I said, though, you got to pay $60 probably for the end price, and you have $15 a month subscription to Uplay. I'm gonna have to get really drunk one night if I hit purchase on that one.
A curious question: would you buy a year-long subscription to the Division if it went on sale, like a Steam sale, kind of like a season pass?
If the game's any good, I want it. Like I'm bitching and moaning about this game, but that's because I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be something new.
Right. Would you take a shot on it though? 25% off.
They wouldn't do something like that. I don't think so. If they might
season passes go on sale.
They'd probably go free to play before they do that or something, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Play Division? Nah, that's too far. I think Ubisoft is making this game and a subscription-based game nonetheless to make money. So they're not going to make it free to play, before seeing what the initial reaction is to the subscription model.
Not beforehand, but think of like the Old Republic. They spent that went hardcore into that, and now it's free to play and but it went downhill.
Yeah, fools, and Ubisoft is only sometimes foolish.
All right,
that's the only defense I could say.
So, like I said, I think we're all on hold on. The Division's gonna just have to show a lot more for.
Yeah.
But they got hype, and so many people are excited about it because they showed a really pretty looking trailer, and it's
it might not look like that when the game comes out.
Is it the new Watch Dogs?
Ubisoft's lost credibility. That's basically all I'm saying here, is that they're just can't trust them. Can't trust those Canadians.
Hey.
All right, Green, we're gonna mention real quick. Chris brought up to me was The Crew. That is kind of an open world racing game. We don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, it's like something that's been on kind of been hidden behind the curtains of E3, and the concept of it, I think, is fucking awesome. It's basically the United States open world racing game. And you just get in with your buddies and you just fucking just drive around, do races all across the states. that idea is fucking awesome. It's just, are they
like
gonna
what,
implement
like
it?
California to New York or something
Yeah,
like
Every
that?
all 50 states.
You could take a couple-hour drive from New York to California.
All 50 states.
Yep.
I want it to be realistically long. So if we're doing a cross-country race, I want to prepare for the long haul.
Bro, Seth, I'm gonna throw you in front of a fucking 18-wheeler if I have to play a game with you for 36 hours
What are you
straight.
talking about? We would have the greatest time.
Fucking bring back those memories of Alta's life.
Oh God!
I'll
Shut the
control
fuck
radio.
up. All right.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea. I don't want to be like the cynical one all the time.
No, but I'm just saying
wait
we're just
and
saying
see.
it's something to keep our eye on. That I'm not saying
yeah.
buy or don't buy. I'm just saying it's something cool to keep. Hey, if you see
Yeah,
the crew pop up, take a look at it.
Yeah.
That's all we're
Yeah,
saying.
we got
The
the
time
we
scale
got
of
the hook.
that driving. The time scale of that driving will have to be wait and see what
But
they do again. 36-hour drive.
I don't
might
think
be
most of us
possible.
in here are not real big car racing sim people, and I'll just say this real quick: the genre of car games has been kind of shit the past 5 years.
Yeah.
There's been a couple, Gran Turismo and Forza releases, but for the most part, most of the racing/car games that came out have been crap. And so I really hope to revive that genre. They need something solid and innovative and good to come out and give these people something. And I hope the crew can
Give
deliver
me that.
something for them.
I just kind of wonder how racing is going to occur on U.S. streets
Probably like
and
Burnout
highways.
Paradise did.
Yeah.
In Burnout Paradise, like there will be this section of like if you and your friends just go up, you'll queue up and go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
I remember that.
and
I
you're
remember
gonna
that
have
game.
like garages, and say you could have a race like you could test something like your friend can go out and get on a streetcar, they can go from New York to California, or you can get an off-road vehicle and go to California to New York, just complete off-road and see who'd get there first. Like there's also like a strategic base to it as well. Like, do you think it'd be quicker to take the roads in a streetcar or go, just go in a straight line, just a fucking beeline off-road?
All right. So let's keep this moving a little bit. We're running a little long. Rainbow Six, which is one of the first PC games that I kind of got big into, and the last installation of this game we played was actually at Pop Kadoosh's wedding, if I remember right.
Yeah, like
That's how long
before.
it's been. That's how long it's been since this game's had a.
We just binge played Rainbow Six.
I gotta get married, but we gotta finish killing these terrorists. So I was originally, they released the Patriots trailer like 2 E3s ago, I think, and then last E3 there was nothing, and it was kind of baffled and confused, and then they renamed it to Siege, I think.
Yeah, Siege.
I want to once again we're back to Ubisoft. Everybody's making fun of that trailer. If you haven't seen it, look up the Rainbow Six Siege gameplay trailer. It's hilarious. They're voice actors who are kind of voicing this trailer, and then they can't hit broadside of a fucking barn. It's kind of an awful gameplay trailer. Anyway, I look at it, I'm like, oh cool, they're kind of going back to the old school tactical shooter element of Rainbow Six. We're back to first person, we're back to planning, we're back to choices, and we're back to that, you kind of have that build up of tension, you breach a door, and then you have to do the split second shoot them before the hostage gets hurt. You can't just spray a room down like in COD. You actually have to do precision shooting and planning. Then I think about it, it's kind of like what's analogy back to Left 4 Dead 2, where it's like 4v4 or 8 versus 8 players. And, going to have levels inside of houses or office buildings or whatnot. And I immediately think to myself, Ubisoft's going to have to really hammer down on these maps, because that if it's this competitive, people are going to abuse the fuck out of any glitch or bug that they find in these maps. And that's the first thing I see.
And the ability to connect to your friends. The ability just to get in with your friends and just go into a game against other people.
Yeah,
not just
you play.
Just not into a crap shoot.
But like I said, I want this game to be good, but then is it a $60 game? I don't know. We're gonna have to see a lot more from it too. I'm glad they're coming out with this idea, and I hope it's a success. But time will tell on this one too.
Yeah, it looked like they presented just like the multiplayer, scene on it. One round essentially of it. But where does is there a single player campaign? Does this factor in there?
Yeah, real quick for people on Rainbow Six, there's a massive storyline that goes behind it with almost 30 characters, starting with the book. And over the years, Ubisoft has been like either slowly killing them off or just forgetting about them. And so, what are they going to do for a story? Are they going to go back to Ding Chavez and John Clark for this, or is it just going to be randomly made up players or randomly made up operators? That's another thing to watch for.
Cameos.
Not cameos.
I'm trying to make 2015 the year of the cameo.
This is the year of the co-op.
Know who any of those people are.
Well, I'm just saying. I played
Rainbow
the franchise.
Six, I could shoot down some damn walls. Call it a day.
You are not on my team because you're gonna have a schizophrenic breakdown on the wall. We're gonna be 3-2. I can't do this. And then you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot like you do in real life when you go on hunting trips.
That
and then
never happened.
Broseph's already killed the hostage.
All right.
I think three of us here, me, somebody else, and someone else can attest that I'm always the one getting shot by one of you guys.
No, that's Walrus always shooting you. Don't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's.
I hit you once because I thought it'd be. I wanted to test bullet penetration on SKS. Okay, so I shot through a concrete wall and hit you in the leg. I'm sorry.
Back to
Jesus.
E3. We're done with this. Move along.
Sore
I'm
subject.
getting thirsty as shit right now. I'm drinking
Alright.
flat soda for fuck's
Well
sake.
then, what do you think about Far Cry 4, Broseph?
Far Cry 4, I hope it's great. I really, really, really like 3. But then again, Ubisoft with the Watch Dogs left a really terrible taste of really bad flat soda in my mouth. So I think I will maybe wait and see.
Want it? We'll wait and see.
There's a problem though. I was excited. I was like, this is kind of cool. Then the villain looked like something out of, I don't know, what's that movie called? I'm trying to make a horrible reference. Anyway, then I was like, oh, look, this is kind of cool. And then I saw the same switch out of Far Cry 3 for the basically, what was it called? Like, gang hideouts. The same thing as in Watch Dogs. I'm like, oh my god, they're recycling more missions. So now we have to attack these forts.
With that, I won't care because I love the way
It's
Far
filler
Cry 3
content,
played.
though. It's just,
I don't care. The way I could jump in from somebody and stab him in the dome and then move on, I felt that was really awesome, and I still play that every now and then.
Well,
and
there is going to be elephants in Far Cry.
I know. I was gonna walk away from Far Cry 4 as I hate it, but then I saw elephant gameplay, and then I'm fucking on the hook.
I mean, that
that
video for elephant riding gameplay was kind of disappointing, though. He rode.
I hope it's co-op,
like
and I want to flip
seconds.
over Broseph in a fucking Jeep with Dumbo, the elephant. That's my dream.
I was gonna make a rude joke, but I'll hold my tongue because I'm a nice person.
Yep, looks pretty good. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it's Far Cry. I mean, personally, I don't really care what the villain looks like. I mean, what the villain's fashion sense is never.
It was kind of weird.
When I got
It looked like Kim
MP5.
Jong-un went to Brooklyn to become a hipster, and then passed an emo shop and went shopping at Hot Topic. Anyway.
Great. So now we can kill hipster emo Kim Jong Un. That's awesome. That's awesome. Whatever he looks like, cool. Can I kill him? Excellent. You know, Far Cry 4 is what it is. Wait and
Biggest
see.
selling point for Far Cry 4 though is going to be the co-op that they demoed at E3. How much of that is going to be? Far Cry 3 had that kind of crappy 4-person, 6-mission. It was fun, but it was its own little separate thing. Are they implementing the 2 or 4-person co-op throughout the entire storyline?
Yeah, what is that with the E3 this year? Like, half the games shown at E3 this year have, like, you know, co-op campaign. Like, over half the games had something about that.
Well, that's the future of gaming. Thank you, Borderlands, for that.
I think that's what they said. They said
that may be
when
with
somebody
the
joins.
consoles. That could be with the consoles too. You know, they're trying to appeal to console players.
I'm okay with co-op. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
that's
play with my
fine.
friends.
Far
I
Cry
think
3 had
most
some
games
really
should be better with
Far
that.
Cry 3 had some really pain in the ass parts that it would have been nice to have somebody up on a mountain with a sniper rifle covering you.
Exactly.
Or you just be good at games and, you know, finish it off quick.
Right.
Oh.
I wish you didn't live in Wisconsin. I just fucking feel the
I
nuts.
got you back. All right, moving on.
What's after
Yeah.
Far Cry 4?
Well, hold on. Anybody else have any other games that they want to
Oh.
mention before we wrap this up on one that I have that I want to mention?
Nintendo had the best conference of the whole show. Done. I'm done.
That's not a game. That's an entire
I'm just
company.
saying, they
Good job,
great.
Broseph.
I will say this: the Grim Fandango remake, yes. Last of Us remastered, hell yes. Right? Bayonetta 2, fuck yes.
Yup.
You know, Devil's Third, but yes,
it could be awesome. It's got that corny, lovable feel to it.
Right, absolutely.
Hyrule Warriors looks really fun. Super Smash Bros.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that game? Scalebound, which is basically just you and a bunch of friends riding dragons around. Fuck yeah.
Yup.
Dragon riding, always. I dragon riding in me, it happens. Like, what was that game, Panzer Dragoon? Like, I had all
Something
of those.
like that.
Yeah. Phantom
Paint
Pain.
Dragon?
I mean, it's not really new, but it's probably that's gonna be Phantom Pain. I feel of all of the games we've spoken about today, is gonna be the Watch Dogs of 2015. And looking forward to it. I mean, that talk about system sellers, right? Who here wouldn't buy a PS4 for Phantom Pain?
I wouldn't buy a PS4 because I've never owned a PlayStation, and I just want to keep that up. But that's me.
Aliens Isolation, jacked for it.
Looks scary as fuck.
I'm gonna poop my pants.
That's gonna.
I won't play it. I'll just watch Broseph stream
it. Or Sushi stream it. Good God.
Oh God, another chair down.
Bob, you got anything that you want to add in before we?
Any Demon Dark Souls fans?
Oh yeah.
I'm a fan, sure.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, the DLC that they're gonna be coming out with it seems cool.
That's gonna be pretty badass.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if this is considered indie game, but No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that game looked rad.
Ooh.
I've
heard
things. That looks pretty awesome.
Heard some things.
Like planet exploration in first person, and then space fighting on top of that. They were comparing it to Star Citizen, but it's not really.
We almost went through a whole podcast without that title being said.
Oh my God!
I only alluded to it. I was doing so well.
Yeah. That was a passing comment, so it doesn't.
I know, but still, we almost made it all the way through.
God damn it, Papa.
We're over budget anyways on time, so.
Yes, so we're gonna wrap up on this one because this is for me the game that I'm going to be rooting for the most. That I want it to succeed. That's on its second life after being, basically, I don't want to say the word, boarded. Homefront, I originally followed it when it was back several years ago when it was kind of in an inception phase. And there was a lot of high points that it was being written by the same guy who wrote the scripts for, I believe, Red Dawn and Apocalypse Now. And they're getting him to pen a book and a game script. And those two are supposed to be kind of intertwined and carry it. I've read the book. The book is great. I read, it was a page turner, got all the way through it. Can't wait for the next book. Third book? What?
No, I didn't say third.
I said
you didn't say third.
Anyway. Well, fuck you.
Thanks.
So, anyway, when Homefront 1 came out, that game was utter crap. From textures, gameplay, AI, anyway. That game, I don't know how many of you played Homefront 1.
I didn't.
I enjoyed the multiplayer demo. That was it.
The single player was
like 3 hours long.
And lackluster for most. So then that company went, which was, I've forgotten off the top of my head, was that company of yours that went broke?
Which one?
THQ. The THQ? Yeah, THQ. When THQ went broke, Homefront got auctioned off, and it got picked up by, off the top of my head, I think it was Deep Silver?
Yeah, I think Deep Silver is it.
Googling it, because I don't want to be wrong. Anyway, yep. And it was moved from the engine that was previously on to the CryEngine, which is actually looking pretty solid. And I kind of like where they're going with the storyline, and I watched quite a bit of the gameplay, and it looks like they're going away from that linear COD storyline to more of a Fallout kind of RPG. You're in the universe, you have missions to do, but you can kind of scavenge around, you can build stuff, and so it's adding that more kind of depth/creativity to it. And I really hope that this game can launch this into a successful franchise. I think this is its, second chance at life, and I hope it wins.
Yeah, and with CryEngine too, right? Crytek acquires it, so it's gonna look sweet.
Yep.
I concur.
We need more open world games. I think the majority of the games that we're looking forward to here are open world, and that's kind of a common denominator across all of them. And the wider the better, the less walls and invisible or otherwise the better. And just more open world for sure.
One of the problems I foresee though is there's so many games with potential that we want to see be good, but we're waiting to see.
E3 is all about hype. I mean, 90% of the stuff we're talking about is all hype.
So somewhere down the road, we are gonna get disappointed by a game, and that's just inevitable. So.
But this week's about being excited until our dreams are crushed by EA.
Yeah.
I think we're looking forward to a lot that we've seen from EA, but I did think that this might be a good closer here. How do you guys feel overall about E3 2014? I mean, I feel it was a little bit of a lackluster E3.
It was lackluster this year, but I feel like it was much better than last year's. Like, I don't think there was a bad conference, really.
The problem with last year was that you had 2 big consoles releasing, and it was 90% that.
Yeah, it just kind of overthrew everything else.
Yeah, and then everybody bitched for...
Overthrew.
The year afterwards, everybody bitched about no content for it.
Yep.
Like I said, Fierce mentioned this. I felt like E3 2014 is just a preview to E3 2015 because 90% of stuff we saw at E3 2014 is going to be back up in E3 2015. So,
yep, for sure. I would also recommend to our listeners to check out a new little website, e3recap.com. Thank you very much, Broseph.
Welcome.
E3recap.com is, just a very cool, legit recapping website. It's got like nice interactive buttons so you can click on like Q3 2014 and it'll auto filter all of the YouTube videos and announcements that are coming out for Q3 2014. And very good website. To that point, when I click on, Q2 of this year, which we're in, by the way, it's going to end at the end of this month, Q3 2014 and Q4 2014, not a lot there. E3 this year seems to be talking about a lot of stuff that we're not going to see for a while. And for me, I think that's the primary reason that it was a bit lackluster. But hopes are high. Hopes are high that all this stuff will be good.
All right, I think that wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
All right, like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter.